everyone, it is great to see you here once again on Dee's Delights. Tonight we are going to make chocolate eclair delight. Once again, I have all the ingredients in my house already. So I'm going to tell you what we need, and I'm going to have to do some substitutions because truthfully I didn't have all the ingredients, but I can make it out of the ingredients I do have. So what you're going to need is 1/2 cup sugar, 1/3 baking cocoa. I'm assuming they're talking about good old Hershey's cocoa. That's what I'll be using this evening. 2 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, 1/8 teaspoon salt, 1/8 teaspoon ground cinnamon, 1 can, 12 ounces of evaporated milk. I do not have evaporated milk. Usually I do, but the last can I had was dented and out of date, so I didn't want to use that. So what I'm going to be replacing it with is, instead of 12 ounces of evaporated milk, I will use 6 ounces of heavy cream and 6 ounces of whole milk. 1 cup of fat-free milk. We don't do fat-free here, so it's going to be 1 cup of regular milk. They also had fat-free evaporated milk, so I'm just going to use regular milk, heavy cream, regular stuff. We're not going to do any of the fat-free stuff. If you want to, go ahead. This recipe calls for 1/2 cup of egg substitute. I have never, nor will I probably ever, purchase egg substitute for a recipe. That's up to you guys if you want to go out and get some. I am going to be using 2 large eggs in place of the egg substitute. And then 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Next, you will need for the topping 2 cups of whipped topping. Once again, they're saying reduced fat. We're just going to use regular old Cool Whip. I'm not going to go with the reduced fat. 1 tablespoon plus 1/2 teaspoon baking cocoa divided, and 9 whole graham crackers halved. And of course, it's calling for 9 whole graham crackers. Can you believe in one package is 8? So I'm going to have to open up another package to get 1 graham cracker out of there. So let's get started. This really shouldn't take long to prep at all. The main thing is we're going to make it, we're going to put it in the fridge overnight. So if you need it for a party or something like that, you're going to want to make it the day in advance. So it says in a levy, large and heavy, that's levy. So anytime you hear me refer to levy, I mean a large saucepan, a heavy large saucepan. In a large heavy saucepan, combine the first 5 ingredients. So let's get started with that. Okay, so let's put our 1/2 cup of sugar in the saucepan. We'll put our 1/3 cup of baking cocoa, 2 tablespoons plus 1 teaspoon cornstarch, our 1/8 teaspoon salt, and our 1/8 teaspoon ground cinnamon. So we'll whisk that together. Next it says gradually whisk in evaporated milk and then the regular milk until smooth. So first I'm going to make my evaporated milk, which is 6 ounces of heavy whipping cream, which would be 3/4 of a cup, and then 6 ounces of regular milk, which would be another 3/4 cup. So together they would make 1.5 cups or 12 ounces. So I'm going to mix that together. We'll pour that in. And then we are going to pour in just a regular cup of milk. I'm going to whisk that together. Okay, I'm going to turn that on to about medium-high heat. If you're using the eggs, go ahead and put them in a bowl and beat them. Or even if you're using the egg substitute, put it in a little bowl, have it ready. Okay, so we're going to stir up our mixture and we're going to cook that over medium-high heat until we bring it to a boil. Then after that, we'll turn it down and let it cook for about another 2 minutes or until it starts to thicken. Okay, mine is starting to come to a boil. I've been stirring it every so often. Now that it's starting to come to a boil, I'm going to reduce the heat just a little bit. And I'm going to cook it for another 2 minutes. It's starting to get thick. Okay, let's remove it from the heat. We are going to take just a little bit of the hot filling, pour it in with the eggs, mix that together. Then we're going to mix it right back in. Put it back here on the heat, and we're going to bring it to a gentle boil and cook for about 2 minutes longer. Thought maybe we were going to have scrambled eggs for a minute. Oh no! Chocolate and eggs, I don't think they go together, but did not turn into that. We're to be stirring constantly. So hurry up and come to a boil already. I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. It's starting to come to a boil, thankfully. I'm going to go ahead and set the timer for 2 minutes. Whoops. Okay, we're going to remove it from the heat. We're going to stir in our 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then we're going to transfer it to a bowl. Then it says to put plastic wrap on the surface of the filling, cover and refrigerate until cooled. I can remember my mom doing this. Guess that way it doesn't get that scummy stuff on the top. I don't know. Anyone know why we're doing this? Is it to keep the scummy surface off? Okay, it's going into the fridge until it's cooled. It is now 10:15 at night. You know, if I would have thought about chilling this stuff for about 3 hours, I would have made it a little earlier in the evening. But I'll tell you what, this pudding, I didn't even realize we were making pudding until near the end of the recipe. So much better than Jell-O pudding. Very, very good. All right, so this is going to make this recipe perfect. In a small bowl, combine whipped topping plus 1 tablespoon of cocoa and set aside. So we are using 2 cups of Cool Whip, which there again, I had some leftover Cool Whip from another recipe, and I perfectly just had about 2 cups thawed out. Now how great is that? If I wouldn't have had 2 cups at this point, I would have just cried and called it a day, said forget it. So we'll mix in our 1 tablespoon you just want to gently mix that in. Okay, I think I got it mixed in good enough without deflating the Cool Whip. Okay, we're going to set that aside, and what we're going to do is break our graham crackers in half. Say you have 9 graham crackers and break them in half. We're going to put these in the bottom of a 9-inch square pan, and you're going to want to spray it with cooking spray first. So let me see here. You know what? I think graham crackers are getting smaller, like the little bits of them. Do you think? I noticed that sometimes even Pop-Tarts must be getting smaller because there's fewer calories in a Pop-Tart. So that tells me they're cutting them down in size, but still probably charging you the same price. You think you're getting a deal, but you're not. So let's layer the graham crackers. And we broke them up so that they'll fit good in the bottom of the pan. Unless you'd have to put 1 and then break it in half, put another. So it works out perfect. The 9 by 9, sort of. The last row is going to be iffy. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put a few more in. I am going to fill in the gap a little bit. I'm going to break a few more. I'm just going to add what I need. So I filled in the gap. I'm going to be a rebel. I'm going to add some extra graham crackers. We're actually probably going to need about 11. Alrighty. Layer half the filling and topping over the crackers. So I'm going to stir the pudding around. Do about half of that on top. Spread it around with trying not to move the crackers too much. Now half of the Cool Whip mixture. This would be similar to the icebox cakes that we made. A little bit more time consuming though, but it's going to be good. Okay, so next we'll put another row of graham crackers. Use as many as you need to fill it up. Break it into small pieces, whatever you need to do. Because sometimes these recipes can make mistakes. So I'm probably going to use about 11 crackers instead of 9 and break the smaller pieces up then, so that we get it nice and covered. Okay, then we'll put the pudding on top, the rest of the pudding. And what you're going to want to do then is put this in the fridge overnight. Can't have it tonight. That way the crackers turn into a cake-like substance. So I think before I put mine in the fridge, I got some graham cracker crumbs. I smushed up the extra graham crackers that I had, and I'm just going to sprinkle some on top. Put a little bit on here. Just sprinkle it ever so lightly on top to give it some color. It's ready to go into the fridge overnight, covered. And I'll let you know what I think of it tomorrow. Time to get it out of the fridge. It is about 7:30 in the morning. So remember, I was up, what time did I tell you? About 10 o'clock at night, a little after. Looking good. I'm just gonna have a little piece. Little teeny baby piece in the corner here. Very, very good. Yes, indeed. Tastes like a chocolate eclair. And I think you will like this chocolate pudding better than store-bought, better than Jell-O brand. Yes, it is good dessert. It's not overly sweet. It's fluffy. Graham crackers just turned into a cake. So yes, I would recommend this. I would give this an 8.75 out of 10. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you real soon.